and decide what you want your future employers to see. Okay. Also, if you don't have a picture of you in a suit, maybe just take one like against a blank wall, because I had to find out I only have one like a professional looking picture of me. Yeah.
Potential employers can only see your Facebook if you friend them, right? Like they can only see what you have for almost everybody on Facebook. So that's only for your friends.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on your settings. Some people, yes, if you have it completely locked down so like absolutely no one can see it, then your Facebook's probably safe. Sometimes you can see what you write on other people's stuff. If you write on other people's statuses,
well, it gets complicated because also, like, if a friend posts a photo of you and tags it that they don't have their profile locked down, sometimes they can still find it through search engines. And then also, if you have it set to friends of friends or people in my friends' networks, I would err on the side of caution, and if I'm applying for a job, go through it and take out content you don't want people seeing on there. I would not rely on Facebook's privacy settings to completely protect you. One, because they change them on like a weekly basis and don't tell you. And two, I would think you would want, it's such a good opportunity to give a potential employer a positive view of you that completely missing out on that because you're worried about them seeing something bad seems like a waste to me.
And there's also people who all they do is take like screenshots of the internet. So like if at one point you didn't have it on lockdown, there could be screenshots of your Facebook from back in the day.
Yeah, there's like one called the Web History Project, and it literally is like a program that scans the web and takes screenshots every so often. So just because you're deleting something doesn't mean it's not out there archived.
What if you untag yourself?
I mean, it depends. It really depends. So, like, if I have a friend who took a picture of me and put it up on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, don't tag me in that. Like, I'm not wearing my suit. And they're like, okay, I'm still going to put it up, but I'm not going to tag you. And it just so happens that they are a friend of someone who works at a corporation. You know, it's possible they'll never see it, but I'm always, you know, I'll know someone who knows that person and might be going through their photo album and see it. You know, like, so it just really depends. Like, and I mean, it's your best self. So career or not career, what do you want your representation to be? If that's the representation you want, we're not saying it's bad. We're just saying, like,
well, there's also a
statistically,
setting where when they go to your photos, the only photos that show are the photos you've uploaded. Like it takes other people tagging you completely out of the picture, and I would definitely recommend that.
That's cool. So Visual CV took like 10 minutes to set up. You just go create an account just like you would anything else. So LinkedIn is another thing that has high searchability on Google, mostly because of all the cross linking and things. And so basically, again, put up your resume, put up a professional photo, personalize that LinkedIn URL, and then you link to your other social networking, like your CV and things like that. That's me. If you want a personalized URL on LinkedIn, you just log in, you go to the left side, and now that I have these slides, don't write this down, you know, edit under profile, go to public profile, edit, and it changes right then. So that way you can be that consistent. So you're not like linkedin.com/QRMTFS, which is hard to brand. Another thing that Google obviously has high search rates is your Google profile, which I built one of these as well. And I actually made this more of like my personal activist work sort of thing, but still professional. So if someone saw it, they wouldn't make it seem like I was, you know, had two brains. And you can link to your other sites. You can fill an interest, and it'll show up at the bottom of the first page of your results with your photo. So you'll have even more visibility on the web. So this was mine. If you search Susie Day, social justice, organized, fun. That's my new tagline that I made in 20 seconds yesterday. So yeah, fun. And then commenting. So another thing Google really likes in their search results is how much you comment on other blogs or newspapers or such and such. So once you create your URL for the website you might be building when Sarah talks about it, or if your URL for your Google profile, make sure you're using that in your comments so that when you are making these, fabulously educated, knowledgeable, changing the world comments on people's blogs, people can then be like, wow, I want to hire that person. She's so fabulous. They can click on your website, go, and learn more about you and how they can get you in their company. So your social networks, you got all that. That stuff might have been like totally boring. You're like, I'm on all that stuff, Susie. Why am I here? We're going to talk about websites. A few quotes I found that they hired 2 people out of college that they found through blogs. They didn't even have or need a formal resume. And then how it talks about how blogs are interactive and not just a piece of paper. And I've known people in student life who were hired because of their blogs, and basically they were found on the internet, and they thought they were way more fabulous than other people who applied. And so they read their blogs, thought they were interesting people, and they got hired over the people who just submitted a resume. You want to do this stuff? Sure, you see it? All right. Are there questions about anyone not know? We want to make sure you leave and know how to do it. So anyone have any questions about how to set up any of those sites, or do's and don'ts, or... I think I forgot to mention earlier, but basically you want to sit down first and think about basically who you want to be. Do you want to be quirky? Do you want to be fun? What career are you trying to get into? And then just make sure that the person you are and the person you want to be matches what people see when they look at you on the internet.
Okay, so I'm going to use blog and website interchangeably. I mean, with the blogging software that's out there right now, you can pretty much tailor any kind of blog to look like a professional website. It would be whatever would meet your needs, and I think how you would want to set it up would depend on the industry you're trying to go into. So some of the pros of setting one of these up is it can really give the employer more of an idea about you as a person and those intangibles that you're going to bring to that position. Something that a resume just always can't communicate. I mean, think about it. Some of them, we just did a job search a couple months ago. I had 70 freaking resumes and applications that I had to go through and try to differentiate these people. And that's really hard to do with nothing but 70 pieces of paper that look kind of the same. So having a website, which I did Google all of our people, and it really helped me narrow down the search. So having something like this can just add to your presentation of yourself and your brand. And so in blog-obsessed industries, not having a blog can be a deficit. I'm going to argue that this isn't as industry-specific anymore, because I would be hard-pressed to think of an industry that doesn't have a company that has a company blog on it. I mean, these tools, regardless of the type of industry, are things companies are looking at and doing on a daily basis. The social media, the blogging, the websites, and showing that you're young and hip and that you're up to date with these kind of technologies, I think is a good thing no matter what industry you're in. But certainly, certain industries, it's almost a must. Writing well is so important, and I think that really gives you a chance to express yourself and show off those writing skills. Being able to communicate your ideas and your beliefs and communicate them well will get you very far in a job search, and this is an unstructured place to do that, where you have more room than maybe in some of these social media or on a resume. And then, like some of those quotes Susie showed, blogs are proving to be resume substitutes. I'm going to argue that it's not a complete substitute. Don't just make a blog and think you're not going to have to do a resume. You always want to have a resume, and you always want to keep it updated. It's easier to do it as you go, but it can definitely be a complement to that. And you can have your resume on your blog or website as well. So some cons. Other audio video may be more effective than blogs in conveying the job seeker's essence. Well, guess what? You can put those on your blog. You can put an audio clip on your blog. You can put a video clip on your blog. So that's not even really a con. Sure, it may be exaggerated
on your business card or at the bottom of your resume. You're giving yourself that much more of an opportunity, again, to distinguish yourself as a candidate. So you can make sure that they're going to see this extra content you put time and work into. Blogs are only as effective as the amount of work you put into them. It's not something that, if you set up one that is cycling through posts, and the last post is from a year ago when this potential employer goes and looks at it, probably not as effective as if you're posting in your industry or area of interest on kind of like a daily basis. And it doesn't have to be all content you created. You can cite content from other people and say, oh, I thought this article was so interesting. Just showing that you're staying up to date in your field.